So this is my Ford Sierra. It's an XR4x4, originally a 2.8 fuel injected car. It's had a few modifications done on it over the last few years. I'll take a look at the engine under the engine bay. So it's got a slightly different engine. It's the 24 valve 2.9 litre Cosworth engine in there. It's had I've been doing quite a bit of work on this just recently. I've had all of the plenum chamber off. I've had to replace a few gaskets. The fuel injection, had to replace some of the bits and pieces on there. You can see I've got the fan. I've had to repair the fan because that wasn't working. Done various things on there, so it's constantly having lots of things done on it. You'll notice from the dials inside the car, there was the brown, there was the back of the dials. There's all these cables, and that's what these are at the moment. So they're obviously not finished. Everything's just been laid in there loosely because it's all just in the trial era at the moment. You'll notice that all these cables are all just laid in loosely at the moment because I'm just messing around with it. Nothing's finished. So we'll just take a look down here. So you can see here is the alternator, okay, and in particular you've got the back of the alternator where you've got this brown cable coming here. And it's that brown cable that is the cable that feeds the first ammeter. So that's the output side of the alternator. That would normally go to the battery, but this time I've disconnected it and that goes straight to the ammeter. So you'll see this old cable here that's been cut off. That is the old cable that's fed, that used to come from the alternator. And it used to go straight to the battery, and this is the other end of the cable. So that's just been completely disconnected at the moment. So you'll notice that you've got all these brown cables, and so it's quite a mess, but it will all hopefully be done soon, be tidied up soon. So just to explain, we've got the alternator that feeds one of the ammeters. We then link across to the other ammeter. And then from the outgoing side of the second ammeter, we then bring a cable, which is this one here, which now is our feed onto the battery. We also keep this cable on the battery because that's for the starter motor. So that's the only thing that remains the same. Everything else has been disconnected. But this is now the new cable, the new feed that feeds the battery, that keeps the battery charged. I then mentioned there was another cable that fed from the ammeters. It could have been fitted from two positions, but this now is the other cable that now feeds all of the other cables, all of the auxiliary cables that feed things like your lighting circuits and everything like that. And so obviously I keep saying it's all just temporary at the moment because it's a bit of a mess under here at the moment. Let's just go back into the car. So now we're inside the car. You can see the steering wheel's off and all the clocks are out, and there's all this wiring all over the place. So one of the things I have been doing, I don't know if you can see in there, I've been redoing various connections. All these were done at different stages. The car's over 30 years old, and so there's lots of work that's been done on it in the past, and it's quite a mess. I'm having to try to tidy it up and sort various things out. There's a couple of faults on the car as well with the electrics, which hopefully I've sorted some of those out as well, with bad earths and things like that. All this wiring down here, it's all part of the old original wiring loom, and then because it's had the new engine in, it's all the old bits and pieces which I've never got round to really tidy up. So that's what we've been doing as well. One of the things I have been messing around with are these dials here. So we've got a voltmeter, we've got an ammeter, another ammeter, and a little clock. So I'm going to just have a look at how we've done those. So just reiterate what we've done. This is the cable that comes from the battery, so from the alternator. We then link across to here, and then the output side of this ammeter is the cable that then goes to the supplies the battery that keeps it being charged. We then have also got this cable that goes to all the auxiliary cables for the lights, etc. Now we've got a couple other things to show you. There's the voltmeter, which is just a simple voltmeter that is just connected in parallel, which just tells you the condition of the battery. So we've just took an earth connection from the bodywork, and then we've took this red cable here, which then comes from the supply, from the ignition. So as soon as the ignition is turned on, this voltmeter also operates. All the cables are out the way. The battery has been turned on, so I've just turned this little terminal, so the battery's all operating now. This part here, I've just wrapped it out the way so it's not touching anything. These are the connections that go to all the auxiliary lights. It's obviously not going to be left like that. I'll have to put it in a proper little junction box or something like that, but everything else is all connected up and everything is tight. Car's not been, I've only just finished doing this the other night. Well, it's been about 4 nights now since I last come out here, so hopefully it should all be okay. Okay, so we turn the ignition on. So we turn it, it's 2 clicks, 1, 2, and you'll notice there that the battery has just came straight up because the ignition has come on, so it's now reading that the battery is at 12 volts there. Need to now just press a couple of buttons to bring the it's got a fancy immobiliser on it, and so that's just come on there. So you've noticed the battery has just dropped off now, and the ammeter is slightly in the discharge. So there's a little bit of electricity going around the car through some of the circuitry, probably the immobiliser system, and so at the moment the battery has just dropped down to just under 12 volts and it's slightly discharging. So the ignition's on, it's in neutral, and I should really just be able to press this button and that should start the car. Just like that. And so you'll notice now that at the moment the alternator is producing around about, I don't know, 30 to 40 amps, and it's charging the battery by about nearly 20 amps. And again, the battery is a healthy battery. It shows that it's being charged by the alternator, and it's about 13 and a bit amps, which is where it wants to be. The interesting thing is now, because there's no load on the car, nothing's really being worked apart from sort of the fuel injection system and a few pumps and things. There's not an awful lot. There's only about 30 amps going around the car. But what happens if we put I don't know, one of the fans on? Let's just see. I'm just going to turn this to the settings. Just watch what the current does on here. So we just turn this onto the settings. So just by putting on the fans, we've put on roughly about 5 or 6 extra amps. I've got twin electric fans on the car, so again, if I turn these on, that's a massive load just going onto the car, and straight away that's another 10 amps. I'll turn that off. And what happens if I just flash the lights? So every time you flash your lights, think about what the alternator and what the engine's having to do. So I flash the lights, and again another over 10 amps. Just to turn those lights on, it's another 10 amps. So imagine every time we put all the things on, so we put the fans on and we turn the lights, suddenly it's gone from about 30 amps, it's now drawing over, that alternator is having to produce about 60, 70 amps. So obviously all the electricity that you're running on the engine so all of that extra load that you're putting on the engine is using more fuel. And so, but yeah, that just shows just thought it'd be quite good to show you what things are what. These buttons will be, these lights will be for a couple other things, and we've got a button here which will be part of the alarm system as well. So becoming a little bit smoky in here now, so I best just turn the engine off. But anyway, that's what I've been doing the last few evenings. Just in the car, just in here. So that's what I've been doing for the last few nights.